Welcome to the next edition of the Wellness Economy podcast. Boy, do we have some good stuff to talk about today. I am one of your hosts, Quadeera Teart.
I am Michelle Fletcher.
Together, we are the Holistic Business Network ladies. I am the publisher of Feel Well Magazine, and Michelle.
I am the founder of the Holistic Business Network.
And we are here to disrupt the industry, y'all. But we got so many good stuff, things to talk about that I want to jump to the very last thing. And I'm going to keep it in order.
Okay.
Go in order. Okay. So the first thing that we want to talk about today, Michelle, is mistakes that are costing people, right? We have South Florida Wellness Week coming up in October, and we've been talking to a lot of wellness brands, health and wellness brands, and a lot of people who are in the medical space transitioning into the holistic, science-based, natural space. And so, I've been in marketing for quite some time, and you know what a stickler I am about branding and marketing. But I'm curious, are you seeing any trends that when it comes to health and wellness brands that you would like them to stop doing because you can see how it's hurting them? I got a list, girl, but I want to know what you think.
Off the top of my head, no, because there's so many ways to take that, whether it's in regards to their social media and how they're verbalizing things, whether it's their website, whether it is how they're showing up in the marketplace. There's a number of different ways. You tell me what you got. I want to hear.
Well, I'll tell you something very interesting I recorded this morning in like a content session that I was doing. One of the things that I see happening in business overall is not just health and wellness, but in business overall, is that people monkey see, monkey do. So people do not understand branding, like what it means to build a brand. And instead, what I see them doing is hopping on the latest trends and thinking that the hopping on those latest trends are going to help them ride a wave, right? So for some reason, surfers pop up into my mind. And, there's an art to surfing that I know nothing about, but I know that you have to be very skilled at riding that wave. You can't do all the backflips and turns and twists that you see someone else doing, because that could very well be leading them to fall and crash into the wave, hurt themselves, break a leg, break an arm, whatever, because the wave is very powerful and you have to know how to sustain on that wave, not just do trendy things, right? So the reason why I started thinking about this morning is because I've been getting more engaged on TikTok. And TikTok is a different animal than Instagram. And so while you can overlap and use some things that are, the same on Instagram and TikTok, TikTok is really and truly its own beast. And on TikTok, what I am noticing, what I am observing is that they're going to hit me for this one, Michelle. But TikTok has a lot of low vibrational content. And I'm not saying everybody on TikTok is low vibrational. That's not what I'm saying. I've seen some amazing stuff on TikTok. I have. Don't beat me up too hard. But there is a lot of like low vibrational content on TikTok. And what I mean by that is people who just want to wake up out of bed and just say whatever they want to say and do whatever they want to do. That's fine. That is fine. if that's what you want to do. It's fine, okay? Hear me when I tell you it's fine if that's what you want to do. But the question you have to ask yourself is, am I building a brand or am I looking for a quick buck? Do I want to sell a quick supplement or am I looking to have longevity in this $9 trillion infinite global health and wellness economy? So that's one of the things that I'm seeing. And so Instagram has always been a bit more aesthetically pleasing. I'm not saying we don't got our low vibrational content over there. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm noticing that TikTok has a lot more like roll out of bed.
Yeah, and the reason they have that is because they encourage people to post a lot. So people are at the point where they're just going to be like, let me just post when I wake up or when I'm doing random stuff that doesn't really provide value because they're really trying to stay in a monetization zone. So that monetization zone is driving them versus presenting value. So yeah. Ooh, a mosquito is getting me today. My gosh, as soon as we started.
I saw something interesting from a guy on Instagram about, because I'm always being bit up by mosquitoes.
Mm-hmm.
You know how people say, how the older folks would always say, I'm going to talk like a Jamaican. Oh, you must have sweet blood.
Yes.
You must have sweet blood. And we've tried to like just throw that under the rug, like, whatever. But then I saw a video. I think I shared it with you or I saved it to one of our like content buckets or something. Mm-hmm. This man was breaking it down to the point where this like scientist or something, he was breaking it down to the point where, it sounds like the elders are right. It is something to do with what you have in your blood, which comes from what you eat. And you might not know this, not you, but the people watching. But anyone that knows me well knows that I like sweet things. I like sweet and salty, sweet and sour together. And so that sugar, right, that sweetness, that sugar is probably driving whatever reactions in my body. We'll come back and talk about that one day. But I found his video very interesting. I saved it and I was like, oh my God, one day I need to take some time to dig into this because it sounds like the elders might have been on the right track. Mm-hmm. So that's a side note because Michelle was being bit up by mosquitoes.
Yes.
Yeah. TikTok, Instagram.
And if I catch them while we're talking, I'm going to kill them. So just stay tuned.
So you're right. It is that they're driving monetization because I'm actually in the process of training my TikTok more because the stuff that it keeps showing me, I don't really like. I don't have any interest in that stuff. Like, I don't want to see people just rolling out of bed and saying whatever they want to say. Not some of the information is really good, but I like my content, me. I like my content to look like The View, like Oprah, like Ellen, like.
Have you found that on TikTok? Have you found content like that?
I have. I haven't. I found some content like that on TikTok. I'm not going to say it's a lot, but I'm not going to give up because a mutual friend of ours has told me, don't give up on TikTok. It's amazing. But you're right. It's that constant producer state that TikTok wants you to be in. Mm-hmm. And so, but even though TikTok is asking you to do that, you have to still think about your brand. How do you want to be remembered? And who are you creating the content for? And I think that's why a lot of brands in the beginning just didn't think that TikTok was their space and their place. So me personally, I'm looking to crack the code on TikTok because too many people in my age bracket have told me, no, TikTok is popping. And so I don't want to call them liars. So I'm looking for the gold.
Okay.
I'll tell you this though. There is a lot of health and wellness product pushing on TikTok.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And the ads, the influencers, they don't call them influencers over there, the creators,
Hmm.
they do make engaging pieces where they like stop you in the first 3 seconds of the scroll, give you some science, but like the general content that's in the feed that's not sponsored, that is where I'm trying to crack the code because I don't want to be like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be repelled, or I don't want TikTok to repel me.
Yes. I see you over there. I mean, you're getting traction. You're definitely getting
I'm
traction.
getting some
TikTok is
traction.
always like an afterthought for me. So,
But you know, LinkedIn used to be an afterthought for me,
mm.
but it's not an afterthought for me anymore. I love it over there.
And LinkedIn's another animal too. It's its own different animal and a different approach to how you're going to showcase yourself.
And I think it's about how, like, what is your content production style and what is your content consumption style too.
Yeah.
I enjoy consuming content from LinkedIn and Instagram. There's definitely a higher trust factor if someone posts something on LinkedIn than on TikTok for me. Um, but there's a few people here and there.
Yeah, outliers. There's always outliers, right?
There's some outliers. And so it just goes to, I'll say this last thing about this. It truly goes to, Michelle, what is the space and the place that you want to have in the marketplace? What is your goal? Is your goal to make quick money, quick bucks? Are you wanting to be a thought leader? Do you see yourself on stages? Do you want big names, big brands, big
Yeah.
stages to invite you on their stage? And if your content is a look inside of that, inside of your brand, inside of how you might show up on a person's stage, then you might want to think about how you are producing your content.
Hmm.
That's all I'm saying. Do what you want to do.
Yep. No, that's a really good nugget to drop.
Okay. But they might beat me up for that. People I know too. I'm not talking about people I don't know.
Well, I always say like when you're triggered by something, sometimes it is like it's a reason for you to stop and really be introspective about why you feel that way. So
Mm,
whenever I'm triggered, I'm like, why do I feel like this? What was it that triggered me? Because
mm,
maybe it is something that's going to push you to change maybe how you're doing things so you can be better.
mm.
So
Yeah,
you're,
triggers, man. Triggers will change your life
mm-hmm.
if you look into them. So, before we jump to the next topic, Michelle, I do want to say that this whole thing about your brand and your identity, and are you in this for longevity, for legacy, or just to make a quick buck, is the dominant reason that we created South Florida Wellness Week, so
Mm-hmm.
that these health and wellness, holistic, science based, and natural brands and solution providers would be able to have the credibility that they deserve for healing different people, for healing us of our ailments, and get the credibility and the respect so that they can begin to move in spaces with authority. That
Yeah.
is, that's some of the missing piece for them.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And to partner with both me and Quadeera, we've both been in the industry for 14 years. Quadeera has a media company, has a wellness magazine, and I've been spreading the health and wellness message for 14 years and helping other businesses really grow their visibility for the past 4 years. You really want to partner with people or companies that have done it and can help you do it too. So, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I can say on that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, in other news, talking about trends and everything,
Mhm.
I decided to see what is going on in the health and wellness space as it relates to Google Trends, and
Hmm.
what are people looking for right now? What do you think is maybe the top three things that people might be searching for on Google as it relates to health and wellness these days?
I think a lot of people are probably searching for gut health solutions.
Mm.
Gut health is a huge topic. I think the next one, and maybe it's because I'm of this generation, but menopause is huge right now.
Ooh.
Menopause is a huge conversation, but maybe because I'm in that space, that's everywhere I turn, I see menopause.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So all of you menopausal experts, a lot of you are doing a great job because I see it being posted everywhere. The menopause experts.
Mhm.
What's the third one? The third one I think are like those biohacking modalities that people
Mm.
can tap into, whether it's the cold plunge, the red light therapy. Um, I am getting real like there's a lot of exciting stuff out there. There's a lot of exciting stuff. Like I feel like every other month I'm hearing about something I hadn't heard about before. And we hear about so many things and we know so many people, but um, one we're going to be talking with today, and this has to do with the brain, but this company has a brain cooling uh, technology. And I'm
Oh, we're
like,
talking to those folks today?
yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, that's what. When I heard that, I said, "Say what now?" So
What
there's
is
this.
brain cooling?
We're about to
We gonna
find out.
find out.
We're about to find out. I cannot wait. So I went and I looked at the device, and I heard it reduces inflammation and all these things, and I'm thinking, "Say what now?" So anyway, the biohacking modalities, I think, are up there too.
This is so fascinating. You know, I gotta search in my chat and ask, what is brain cooling and why does my brain need it? Short version, I'm not gonna go too deep in, but what do you say now? Brain cooling? Brain cooling is the process of lowering the temperature of the brain to improve function, protect against damage, and optimize performance. Your brain is extremely sensitive to heat. Even a 1 to 2 degrees Celsius rise above normal can impair concentration, decision making, and memory. Cooling the brain helps reduce inflammation, oxidative stress, and metabolic strain, which are all linked to aging, disease, and cognitive decline. Short version of why your brain needs it: neuroprotection. Cooling can slow cell death in cases of stroke.
Mm.
Performance boosts mood and stress regulation, longevity, and cognition. Wow. So you can get this by way of cryotherapy, cooling headbands or helmets, cold showers or face immersion, and breath work and meditation. That just made it make sense to me.
So look at that guy, Ashton Hall, right? Every morning he shows his dipping his face in that ice
Yeah, the
bowl.
ice bath bucket bowl.
Mm.
Wow, look at this. This is crazy. I'm so fired up about this because there are so many ways for you to like make yourself unique in the marketplace, and you just don't know, which is why I'm so excited about your passion for making sure that we have holistic cutting edge technologies at South Florida Wellness Week, taking part in the Holistic Influencer Summit, and all the activities that we have, because these are so many opportunities that people can add into their already existing practices and businesses
Yeah.
that will put them on the cutting edge, place of things and make them stand out.
And helping their patients get even better results. Like you already have your niche. You add in something else that you don't have the niche in, but you have the technology. Guess what? You're going to help raise the results for your patient. Your patient's going to love you.
And then
I
talk about you.
exactly. and refer you. There you go.
And then
So,
going back to social media too, right? Like you can't produce low vibrational content with something like brain cooling. You
no,
know? I
that's
love what you said about the menopause, right? You said menopause is everywhere.
mm-hmm,
So you said menopause is everywhere, and it's true. And Michelle, I love this because this is exactly how apparently somebody has gotten together. A group of folks have gotten together and
mm-hmm.
decided that menopause is going to be our new issue.
You
So
know,
a couple years ago, it was mental health, which I like to refer to as mental wellness.
mm-hmm.
But it was mental health, and all of a sudden now, bam, mental health is everywhere. But I need y'all to understand that the way that happens is because a group of people, and I don't mean like 5, 10, I mean conglomerates of people,
Mm-hmm.
associations, memberships get together and they push an agenda. Sometimes it looks like uh, political advocacy. Sometimes that's what it looks like, right? And sometimes it just looks like everyday people deciding and making a change and saying we're going to push this, but they do need the campaign dollars to help push that too. But mental health was something that we can identify where one day when we were younger, it was like, oh, taboo to talk about your mental health. And then
Yep.
next thing you know, it's like, you got to do it. You can't, where's your mental health budget?
I almost wonder if Big
Mhm,
Pharma,
mhm.
is behind like the things that we start to really obsess over. Like it was mental health, now it's menopause. I wonder if they push the agenda because they've already created something that's like, oh, they're buying to this. Everyone's going to be talking about it, but we're going to really up the game because Big Pharma has so much power and so much
I
dollars.
wouldn't doubt
From
it.
something to think
Big
about.
pharma and big business associations, but they all tie in together, right? And
Yep.
the stock market and political advocacy,
Yep.
which is why we have to make sure that we actually have seats, and not seats at the table, so to speak, but we are creating space for holistic wellness, science based natural wellness to be able to make demands, like be Bigfoot. Because right now we've become so used to healing people behind the scenes,
Yep.
right? We've been
Yep.
lurking in the shadows all of this time, but it's time to compete, right?
Yeah. And girl, if you that's a message right there. Because I was literally thinking about this.
Mm,
How now is the time more than ever to stop hiding behind closed doors in how we're helping people heal naturally, because the narrative is that, oh wait, you have to rely on pharma to to and it's not curing anything, it's really just putting a band-aid on symptoms. So pharma has gotten people so used to, or so ingrained in trusting in pharmacy and pharmaceuticals. I was literally in a coffee shop working yesterday morning, and the cutest group of older women, they were from a retirement community right next door, were there having their Monday meetup. It was like 18 women. It was awesome. And they kept stopping by and talking to me. They were so nice. But I'm listening, I could hear them talking, and I could hear someone saying, well, a number of people were saying, oh, I'm taking this prescription for this. And then they were like, oh, well, have you tried this? And then they were like, well, I was using that, and then I had to take this because that caused this. And then and it was like, what? It's like, it was a number of prescriptions that they were referring to. And I was just like, wow, like, I don't want to disrupt these older women. They're having a great time, but it took everything in me not to say something, but this is how it works. It keeps you in a cycle of dependence. And they want to make sure that, people that practice natural health and wellness that we sound like we're crazy for thinking that the things that existed before pharmaceuticals actually work. Like the things that our great, 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 great grandparents used to help when anyone in their family had an issue. Well, if the doctor in the community was coming by, the doctor was usually carrying some herbs, some natural foods that would help people get better. So it's so fun. In the gym I go to, I've become like the medical person because everyone's in there working out, but they have no
You mean the
connection
plant
to,
lady?
yeah, I am
The
the plant.
holistic lady?
I literally was
What did I call you today in one of my posts? The holistic connector?
I literally was prescribing Mullen to someone this morning. I prescribed it to him last week. He was like, "Oh, I was sick and I still have this congestion." And I was like, "You need to take some Mullen. Put some Mullen." And he was like, "What is that?" And the funny thing is, he's Jamaican. I was like, and he's older. So he's now living in the United States and is more removed from the things that he probably used to do living in the islands. So he came back to me today and was like, "I forgot the name of that herb you mentioned." And so I told him again. And he said, "I really need to get back to, the plant life and the herbs." And it's funny, he's Muslim, so I'm surprised he's not more into that. But I think it kind of inspired him. And I said, "You absolutely do. This is what God put on this planet for us to help heal our bodies. It's just that these big corporations have the money to spread a lie." Yeah. And we're going to talk about that some more in a little bit.
Big corporations have the money, you know what, to spread lies, but I'm going to say it like this for those people that might be like, big corporations have the money to spread messages.
There you go.
Like that's the bottom line of what I'm talking about when we're talking about the branding, the social media, all of the things, South Florida Wellness Week, the movement. Big corporations have money to spark movements. Movements spark messages. You know what I mean? So meanwhile, you're hiding in the shadows and allowing somebody else to paint a narrative and a message about who you are and what you do. And then you're getting upset because they're winning and you're not, but you're not willing to get in front of the camera and share the stories of healing that the success that you've had throughout the years or the decades. And I know we've seen stories, because Michelle, this is the other side, girl. We've seen stories of what happens when someone comes out of the shadows and shares their truth, right? But don't be confused that it's all about the message, right? So the big corporations also have money to paint any kind of narrative, to share any kind of message, and to scare you back into the shadows that you were trying to creep out from. So that's why it's important to band together with other folks that believe in your mission, that are willing to lead the charge and, help you influence the marketplace and ultimately help more people.
Yeah, I think back to, so I've been partnered with a nutraceutical company that's all plants in their products, all fruits and vegetables. And it's amazing what happened during the pandemic, where the FTC really, they took it to the next level of locking down companies like this, sharing their messages. And, they made it to the point to where the average person who was not educated on natural solutions would think that it's actually harmful. But since when has it been harmful to eat fruits and vegetables unless you have an allergy, which is usually a gut issue? So if you have allergies, it's typically a gut issue. You can get rid of allergies to certain foods that you're eating if they're natural.
That's a word. If they're natural.
If you're natural, if you're eating something processed, then our body's already trying to give us messages, and if you're ignoring that, then that's on you. But I will say the way that these bigger entities came down on so many of these, what we would consider kind of big business, like companies making billions of dollars, but there's people making trillions of dollars that came down and said, no, you can't say this. You can't say that. Even though we know those things to be true, you can't say them and you got to skirt around. So, I think the pandemic really put a lot of people on their, inhibited some people. And then for some people, it caused us to rebel even more. Now, I decided I was going to rebel a little bit more. I was like, you're not going to shut up I'm not going to stop talking about it. I'm going to start having events where I showcase not only what I do, which helps people get healthy, but I'm going to showcase a whole bunch of other people too. So, there were two ways to go about it. And I think for some people, that was a psychological effect of, man, they don't want us to share this out, so they have gotten behind hidden doors. But I say the pandemic happened started 5 years ago. It's time to get out. It's time to start sharing this message loud and proud. It's time.
It's been 5 years already.
I know. 5.5. What was that? February or March of 2020?
Wow.
And we're in August. I'm saying October. But yeah. So, things are done on purpose. And there's a reason why things happen, because, if your message is getting too strong and too good, but it's not serving big corp, then of course they're going to try and shut you down. But I say, be a rebel. Be a rebel.
Right. Somebody's fired up today.
Yep.
Be a rebel. You heard it from Michelle herself. All right, so Michelle, I want to encourage some folks. Oh, I didn't even go into the list. Okay, just so nobody says I didn't go into the list, let me go into the list of the Google Trends.
Oh, yes.
So what's trending? You said gut health solutions, menopause, biohacking modalities. You gave us the niches, which that's true. We should come back and talk about that on another day.
Okay.
But according to Google Trends, people are Googling and showing interest in, there's a demand shifting towards personalization and results-based nutrition. I love that, results-based nutrition. So functional nutrition, another great way to describe functional nutrition for any of my functional practitioners out here is results-based nutrition. I love that. So functional nutrition, healthy aging, appearance and aesthetics, in-person wellness services, weight management, and mental wellness. Okay. And I want to add this too, Michelle. So in functional nutrition, what this trending data is showing us is that there's an opportunity for recurring revenue in there, right? So this is an opportunity for you to create your memberships or your packages to keep people living longer and stronger, because this is something that they will need. You'll set them up for success, of course. I'm not saying that, but it's also an opportunity for you to create like subscription models. In healthy aging, the business opportunity goes into what you said, biohacking, anti-aging, long-term care partnerships. It's also another opportunity for subscriptions. Appearance and aesthetics. People are getting more into at-home aesthetic services. So they don't mind going to the med spa and stuff, but they're desiring some at-home care, more exclusive care. Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
And when it comes to weight management,
so we've been seeing that though. We've been seeing that with the therapies. I know people that are having Botox parties, which I don't really consider that.
Yeah, I don't consider Botox, but we'll have to do Botox another day. And let's see. Okay, but speaking about weight loss, there's something happening as of today. Ozempic
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is talking about the $2 billion Ozempic lawsuit. Has that come across your timeline and your feed?
Oh yeah, I actually posted that in my story yesterday, and I had some conversations about it too. People were like DMing me about it.
But you
Um,
know what's funny about it, Michelle, is that this lawsuit happened back in February of 2025, but
mm,
it just seems to be like blowing up right now. So what must have happened is like one person or a couple of people with a lot of leverage and impact and influence must have said something about it, and now everyone's picking up on it. But it actually was filed months ago.
wow. So I know Sharon Osbourne, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, was really speaking out against it and saying how much damage it did to her health and how she can't even gain weight and how I believe she has some issues digestion and all of that. Like it totally, she looks very drawn and she's having a hard time, you know.
I remember back when people were like, I saw like a few posts here and there, but I didn't dig into it. People were saying like, "Oh, look at Sharon Osbourne. What's going on with her?" Like I remember that, but I didn't know exactly what was happening. So my girl did Ozempic.
Yes.
Wow. So the lawsuits are actually being filed against Ozempic and Mounjaro.
Hmm. I wonder, are they? I wonder if they're by the same creator or it's two different creators.
It says two different creators. Ozempic is by
I
Novo
saw.
Nordisk,
Oh, okay.
and Mounjaro is by Eli Lilly.
Hmm.
So we'll be keeping y'all updated on that as time goes on. But patients are claiming exactly what you just said. Sharon Osbourne claimed they were not warned about severe gastrointestinal risks,
Yep.
stomach paralysis.
Yep.
Some people too have been like, you told me I was going to lose all this weight. I didn't really lose all that weight. And do you remember? You were telling me, not do you remember, you were telling me that one of our doctors was telling you about what, by our doctors, I mean, member of the Holistic Business Network. One of our natural doctors was mentioning to you the origin of Ozempic was actually for diabetes.
Yes, that was its main intention was for diabetes to help people with their insulin levels. And then people realized how much weight those diabetics were losing. And so non-diabetics started using it for that reason. But I don't know if maybe it's because they didn't have the other issues that so many people had additional effects from using
Mm.
it. I haven't dug deep into that yet to know why is it some people, because I saw a story of a young girl, she was in her 20s, and I believe like part of her bowel system had totally shut down, and she's like in her 20s because she was using this and no one actually warned her. But prior to, she was like, if I would have known this was a risk, I would never have taken it. She was devastated because she did like a live video after she had just left the doctor's office, and she was just in disbelief of how much that product had destroyed her actual digestive system.
Michelle, this is why we do what we do, girl. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a practitioner. I'm not a nurse. I'm not an acupuncturist. I'm none of those things. I'm just a media and marketing business person behind the scenes that likes to help people in the holistic health and wellness space get their message out, get their messaging right, and
Mm-hmm.
know how to communicate with the people, create opportunities. Because if you do not speak up for this industry, you allow things like this to happen where a young lady didn't even know that there are things she can do. There are solutions. If she was going to those products, Ozempic, Mounjaro, whatever, for diabetes or for weight loss, there's always a God-given solution, right?
Yeah. So the doctor, we were talking about, I had posted this lawsuit in my stories and he was commenting and he says, they're really selling people a lie. They say that people will lose 18 pounds in the first month. And he was like, most people will not do that. But he was like, even he can help people do that naturally within 2 to 3 weeks. They can naturally have those results without having to resort to something as toxic or something as risk averse, right? So
Nutrition, plants, herbs, even some
that's,
holistic technologies.
yeah.
Like there's so much because the truth is we don't know what's inside a lot of these drugs, It can be eating away very important parts of our cellular structure, of all the things backing up. Your gut, your bowels are imperative, like imperative to your life. You need your bowels to function as much as you need to breathe.
Mm,
Like you can't, there's no, oh, your bowels might go down. No, we need our bowels to move as much as we need to breathe in air.
hmm I
It's
mean, and
wild
that's
out.
why it's holistic, right? It's the whole body. That's what is a lot of the controversy with traditional medicine, that you'll go to all these specialists and they're focused on that one area of your body, but your body is a whole system and it's all connected. And so, like your bowels, can you imagine now having to have a device or something on the outside of you that has to work on your body's behalf? Like it's a full system going on here. And
That's no way to live.
no, mm-mm, mm-mm.
That's no way to. You're so funny. You just did a classic Caribbean face. Mm-mm, not me.
I
Nobody.
know, I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, it's
I
horrible.
love my Caribbean people so much. Oh my God, I love every single mannerism. Everything is just so cute to me. Okay, so Michelle, this is really great news if you're in the holistic, natural, science-based world. Like we ain't sweating.
No, and listen, I get so excited because one of our South Florida Wellness Week events is going to be mm, somewhere that you're going to get to learn about this, where you can get to learn about solutions that can help you, that are
Yes.
not as harmful as these products that are getting sued for trillions of dollars, that have already caused tons of damage to so many people and
So
taken away
excited
their
about this.
quality of life. So we're giving solutions that give you life and give it abundantly, while they're out there getting sued and taking away people's life and vitality. So
Wednesday, October
Wednesday, 8th,
8th
you
at
do not want to miss that day.
and
6
this
p.m.
event happens to be free to the public. It's our opening night for South Florida Wellness Week. We will have media professionals who like to focus on health and wellness there. And we also have a doctors panel where they're going to be talking about the latest and greatest in their cutting edge research, technologies, and trends. So you can find this right now at southfloridawellnessweek.com. And it's also listed on Eventbrite as well. Oh, girl, I
Yeah,
forgot about that. That is going to be fire.
it's going to be so good. So if you're looking for those kind of solutions, we've got you. We've
Mm.
got you.
All right. So, Michelle, the impact on the market right now, the investors of those products, they are, upset because that means their money is draining right now because ain't nobody signing up to do that. Consumer confidence is rattled. It should have, I hate to sound like this, but it should have been rattled when you heard all the side effects. But anywho, um, open open space, the opportunity here for our community is that this is opening space for the natural holistic weight management brands to reposition as safe and sustainable alternatives. And it's an opportunity for you to go ham on your social media platforms. Check
Right.
out this news. Be the one that your community trusts. Deliver the news to them. Let them know what's happening and let them know how you're the solution. That's what this Ozempic Mounjaro lawsuit does for you. And I used to say this all the time, and so I'm going to bring it back. People might be suffering and struggling. People love to say this, right? When we're in an economic crisis or whatever, somebody somewhere is thriving.
Oh yeah.
So you might be struggling, or somebody around you might be struggling, or they might be talking about a crisis, but you better believe there is an opportunity in there for you. So for you all, the opportunity is for you to be the solution, the natural, holistic, science backed solution. I'm fired up about this.
Yes. So if you're watching this episode or any of our previous episodes, we're giving you the heads up on how you can stay ahead of the game. So
Mm,
this is the game. Q just gave you a play. Implement. Let's
mm.
go.
All right, girl, this was great. The wellness economy, it's growing, growing, growing. But right now, it's positioned for 9 trillion by year 2028. But we know with the work of the Lord, it's infinite. I just had to throw that in there. And it's about what you make it. So, Michelle, you have any last thoughts for us today on the wellness economy?
I don't. I feel like we just jam packed some really great info in here. I don't want to, I just want to end on that note. That's a high note.
We'll end on this note. South Florida Wellness Week, the most influential week in health and wellness, helping health and wellness business leaders and professionals take up space, massive space in the $9 trillion global wellness economy. To learn more, to get involved, to get tickets, to get in the room or get on the stage, visit southfloridawellnessweek.com. That's it.
Bye, guys.